I hope you guys are excited about a thrilling video today because I've got quite the story for you. Another lesson learned. Whenever you do a quote or a contract for a job, make sure you're explicit. Just very detailed in what your job scope covers. This is all stuff that I'm used to, just being an employee. It's all kind of known, this is what you do, this is what you don't do, specifically with trades, it's kind of cut straight down. Lines might blur a little bit, but whatever. Point being, I was not extremely detailed in what my part of a project was to be. My intentions were to do the welding and the installing of these window frames. Yeah. Well, the concrete cutter decided that he is already so upside down on the job that he's done. So why this is a big deal is because he decided he was going to jump in there, drill the bolts. As far as I understand, and I even talked to the owner who I'm working for directly, this was a concrete cutter's the portion of it, or the bricklayer, or whatever he's called. He was supposed to do the bolt work. I was just welding and framing with the steel. Yeah, he decided to just throw some bolts in there. He'd never done it before, did not explain to me that he'd never used a Hilti bolt. I didn't know that anyone in the trade doesn't know what a Hilti bolt is, or, at least the same mechanism. You drive a bolt in, and when you tighten it, it locks itself into the concrete, so you've now bolted steel to whatever you're trying to fasten it to. I thought everyone had used it. Anyways, he just goes for it, takes the nut off, hammers the threads, hammers that thing straight on through to kingdom come. So all he can do is get maybe one and a half turns on it, just enough to grab it, and then it gets all marred up. So now he's got a couple of these things sunk into the building. I call him, back to the other video, yesterday's video was talking about it. I had to call him out for a third time to cut these holes. Well, it was the third time for him. This is the second time I called him to fix the openings in the hole. He knew these doors had to be exact dimensions, so I prefabbed these things to just slide in there in place, and I just put the plating around. Well, I go to slide in, it doesn't fit. I was very detailed in explaining what I need to do there, so that was very frustrating. I had help with me when I was going to put these up, just because I couldn't do by myself. It was only like 12:30 when we were about to put the last two doors in on Monday, and it wasn't ready. I already talked about that. Anyways, so he decided, I called him, asked him about the cutting open the holes again, and what he wanted to do about fixing the bolt. And his response to me was, well, I haven't really thought about it. I was like, can't you just cut it off? I was like, well, it's structural bearing. I can't just cut it off and weld a nut on there, because that's what he wanted me to do. I was like, it needs to be holding something. I can't just weld a nut and make it look pretty. And I was like, you need to come out here and, just drill into the side here, and we'll just put new grout. Drill into the side, get it all busted loose so I can pull the old one out, and we'll put new grout in there, and I'll re-drill it. Do it right. My name's stuck on this thing, it's in front of a building. Everyone's gonna see it. And yeah, no, he decided that he was gonna get really hot with me and explain to me that all he was gonna do was cut those holes, recut those holes, and that was it. He was done with this job. So that in turn made me get extremely hot. Tried to keep my cool as best I could, and I'm actually very mellow now. This is a day later. This all happened last night. I was on the phone till like 6 o'clock getting this all worked out. I said, whoa. So I wanna say this clearly, and this might not be my exact words, so don't quote me on it, but this was the intent of it. I said, let me get this straight so it's out in the open. You will not fix your mistake. You're dumping it on me. I have to fix this bolt. He said, all I'm doing is those holes. I'm already upside down on the job. I'm not putting any more into it. And that's it. So without me being specific in the contract of what my job was, whole mess of things went wrong. The owner already paid the concrete cutter. Concrete cutter said his portion was done, which it wasn't. I wish the owner would have contacted me and we would have figured that out. So instead, he decided he got to a point where he could no longer keep going into debt on this job because he bid it wrong. So he felt everybody needed to share in losing on this job. He said, he's like, everybody's losing on this job. I was like, well, I wasn't losing on this job because I bid my stuff right, but I did not quote or put the details in what my work was to be. I'm still doing great on time. So that was his excuse. He was done losing money, so he just dumped it all on me. Asked the owner, even the owner said, yeah, that was actually his portion of the job. He was supposed to do that, but he's already paid, you know, I'm sorry. Blah, blah, blah. I got it all worked out to where I'm going to just continue billing hours and the material now to take over his job, and the owner is actually just going to be out more money. He has been amazing to work with. A true blessing on just the nightmare of a job like this and dealing with that concrete gutter. As far as I know, the guy probably is not going to have a whole lot of work coming his way much more. The guy that I'm working with is a mover and shaker. So his name, you know, his bad reputation is going to follow him really quick with this one. It was not handled professionally at all. But that's the fun story for you. I now get to fix someone else's mistake because he didn't want to fix the mistake anymore. And then I got to do his job as well because I was not very, you know, defined in what my job scope was. So fun little lesson for you and a real true story for you on what you need to do with contracts and quotes. Be very detailed in what your job scope is and what you are getting paid specifically to do. Because anything above and beyond that, that's not in contract that he signs for, he wants you to do, that's going to be, you know, an add-on. You know, whatever your back charge, whatever you want to do, for, whatever the word is, you know, can't think of it right now, but it's an addition to what you had originally quoted, and that's just what it is. Anyways, went a little long-winded today because, man, I was extremely hot last night. I was not fit to be around my family last night. I felt horrible, but my attitude was not in the right place. So, anyways, I hope you guys learned a lesson. If you didn't learn a lesson, I hope you enjoyed a good story and a good laugh at my expense. That's what we're all here for. You have a great one, and I'll talk to you guys later.